Hi there. You might have been wondering where I've been, and rightfully so. If you don't care where I've been, you don't belong watching this video, so take your leave now. Um, so this reading, it's not a reading. This video and me talking is going to be very raw and real. So I'm kind of exposing myself a little bit and it's uncomfortable and vulnerable, but I'm going to do it because it's important to me to give myself room to do that and not be afraid to do that. I want to do more of that in general in life, but also because I want you to know that it's okay to do it too. I want to help, maybe you'll relate and maybe it'll give you courage, hopefully. So, what's been going on with me? I've had a bit of health issues that I'm still dealing with, but, you know, it's okay. We're putting one foot in front of the other, but also like mental health issues, you know, really bad, really bad anxiety. It's gotten better, but that's the big reason why I've had to take a pause from the collective. But, um, you know, as far as like my mental health goes, back in 2021, I got off anxiety medication and I said, I'm never going to have to take these pills again. And here I am on anxiety medication, on the medication I was taking before. And to be quite honest, I was delaying that for as long as I could. And my boyfriend kept on saying, you need to get on something. And I was being stubborn and I didn't listen. And I should have because, your mental health is like one of the most important things that you need, right? To kind of move through life. Like, yeah, you could have a physical thing wrong with you, and not that that's not bad, but it's kind of hard to function when you've got bad anxiety, especially. I mean, any kind of mental illness is tough, but for what I experience, it's just debilitating is the best word I could describe it. So what's kind of, I think, happening right now for people that are really doing hard work as far as like healing is history is repeating itself and not good history, like past trauma that's like really heavy that's resurfacing and that's like showing up in your life. And quite honestly, I was like, why is this here? Am I not supposed to be here? Am I not doing the right thing? Like, um, I was putting it on me, but just also saying there's a reason this is happening and trying to like get to the bottom of it, right? Um, and a lot of what was going on with me was my nervous system was out of whack because of the healing that I do. And I've like before this happened to me, I was seeing a lot of like stuff on my For You page about nervous system things, like how to help you when you're going through it. And I tried a couple different ones of those. I had 2 panic attacks like back to back at night, and then I was afraid to go to sleep. And I just always expected it to be that, right? To be, they have a panic attack. Like I associated it with that, right? Um, but anyway, it's like what I've been going through is kind of an inner battle. It's not external. It's just an inner, like, old version of me that is afraid of this next phase of my life that's going to be completely different. A lot of change, and it's terrifying. Unknown is terrifying, right? Um, and part of also the part of what was causing me anxiety was being on social media. So that's part of why I haven't been on there, because I noticed that, and it was hard to face this because this is like an old version of me that I thought was done. We were done with this, just like I was done with anxiety medication. But, and if you relate to this, you're not alone, and try to take the steps that I'm taking, even if it's hard to just walk away from social media for a while. Anyway, I found myself, doom scrolling on TikTok, and all my For You page was caked with, readers that I follow and messages they were giving me. And Instagram too, and then my friends would send me stuff. And what I found myself doing actually was interpreting it in the most negative kind of way possible. Like I was just worst case scenario, even if it wasn't even about what I was thinking about, or, their messages probably weren't worst case scenario. It was just a, gentle nudge or something like that. Um, and then also with music, and when I was out working, I was just looking for signs and, looking outside myself for answers. Okay. Getting anxiety talking about that. Because of the unknown, because I knew that I was heading in a new direction, and that was scary for me, right? I didn't want to let go of what's familiar, even though, this next, um, adventure is going to be really exciting and really good for me. I feel it. So shoot, I was going to say something and I lost my train of thought. So I was obsessing about readings and signs and messages, and I'm like, this is not good for me mentally. It's not good. So I got off social media, and that had me thinking about, because I literally, even when I wasn't mentally feeling like bad or anything, I literally like stopped wanting to even utilize my cards, my tarot cards. So, I kind of thought about why would that be? And I was thinking about recent readings that I've done. And when I was doing them, I felt like, I would say in the moment I felt disconnected, but it wasn't that I was disconnected. It was just that something was already showing up that I intended to do going forward that I just didn't even realize was a thing. And I was looking at it in a negative way. But, I realized that one of the big things is that tarot readings, or tarot in general, right now, it's not that I'm not aligned with it, but, because I'm working through like trusting my inner knowing, because my inner knowing is so strong. Like that's probably my strongest gift. That I'm just not drawn to the cards right now, because I want to trust my voice, and that's what spirit wants for me too. So that's, once I figured that out, I was like, okay, I just thought there was like, I was being disconnected from what I thought my purpose was, right? So, with the mental health thing, I don't know if I already said this, I'm sorry. Like, part of what was coming up for me and why I was getting triggered was because history was like repeating itself right now. And you might resonate with that. So really traumatic experiences that I had that were surrounding my health and my well-being. It's kind of like I'm seeing that, or I was seeing that again. And I'm like, why is this happening? I thought I was done with this. I thought, I already dealt with this and healed this. And pardon me, what am I doing wrong? Am I in the wrong space? Like, I was freaking out, literally freaking out. Okay. And, I even talked to my doctor about upping, because I'm on the lowest dose I can be. I talked to my doctor about upping my medication. He wouldn't do that. He wanted me to see a therapist, and I was like, I don't understand. He just can't help me for now. Like, I just need to get through this little thing. But I'm glad he didn't, because he was right about what he said. And, part of it is that even if it's hard, you have to sit with what's happening now versus what was happening then, and see what you haven't dealt with or let go, or, um, you know, well, I feel like it's more for me, and maybe it's different for everybody, but like a dealt with, what I haven't dealt with from the past. Okay. Um, so, that led me to kind of a moment where, and it's funny, I had posted a video, I don't know, a couple months before this, recognizing that I never really addressed or noticed how I was feeling, how I feel, when something happens, good, bad, whatever. But the big thing that I noticed is that I never really have expressed anger. And a lot of that is due to, and this is not any dig at my parents, this is just how I was raised, and then what is a result of it and how I need to deal with it as an adult. But, I grew up in a home that had my parents never fought in front of each other, and we were very just like, everything was great, and, nobody really expressed those kind of things, right? Like, that we were actually feeling about what was going on. Like, even if we were upset, like, we didn't know how to do that. Or we weren't good at that. My parents, they were well intended because they didn't want us to grow up in a home where, parents were fighting all the time. So I know why they did it. And I just want to stress that because when you become an adult at some point, like, everybody's got, it doesn't matter if you grew up in like the best home ever, everybody's got trauma like that they carry, based on their upbringing, and it's up to you to deal with it. Okay. So anyway, long story not short, I realized that, I never really expressed feelings of anger or rage or anything. And, one of the things about my boyfriend, that used to make me uncomfortable is that he has a healthy expression of anger, when he's upset about something. And that made me uncomfortable because, like I said, I grew up in a home where we never expressed any kind of feeling. So, I recently kept like noticing that I had these feelings, pardon me, these feelings of anger and rage. And a lot of times it would be in moments with my boyfriend that were good moments, gentle moments, just us sitting there talking, having a good time, laughing, whatever. So I had to sit with that and say, why am I angry about this? This is really good stuff. And it helped me realize that it had nothing to do with him. It's just, I've had this anger inside of me my whole life that I've never kind of dealt with, or understood or allow myself to feel, and I mean, you get angry at your people, your person, your family, whoever. It happens. That's natural. So, then I had to sit with, what have I been angry at him and I didn't express it, kind of thing. But really, it's a lot about the past, and some really traumatic experiences that I had. I never gave myself room to feel like, I know I was mad at whoever the person was, but I never gave myself permission to actually sit with what was happening and allow myself to really get mad at that person. And so I allow myself to do that recently, and just kind of like, whoa, this was really heavy. And I just, I think we're conditioned in general, all of us, to just keep pushing forward. We just got to keep pushing forward. And, at some point you say, okay, I don't want to burden this person with the story again. And you know, it's about how you're approaching the story too. Like I was in a victim mindset before, so I was just looking for some kind of validation of wrongdoing instead of saying, you know, to myself, man, that really hurt me, and I got to get mad at this person because that wasn't cool, you know? Um, and a lot of us, like, that are like that, I guess some people just are, it's easy for them to say, hey, I don't like what you did, and you really hurt me, and whatever you need to say, and I'm angry at you, right? But that's not me. That's not who I am as a person. I'll never be, you know, I'm too like gentle for that. I mean, but I need to start healthily expressing my anger. And I'm going to continue to tap into like past situations that I didn't get to say what I wanted to say, or, you know, I didn't even know what I wanted to say, but now I know, you know, what I would say. Um, and I encourage you to do that too if you resonate with this. And it was very freeing for me. And since I've done it, I really haven't had that kind of bubbling up feeling. And you know, it made me realize a lot of the times when you're angry, it's because you're not expressing like yourself fully. You're not being yourself fully in the moment. And then it turns into, you know, resentment or, you know, anger at somebody else for something that you know, didn't do, right? But, you know, obviously if it's something traumatic that you've experienced, you have every right to be angry, and you need to allow yourself to express that, right? So, you know, some of the mental health stuff was definitely tied into that as well. But like, quite honestly, I've done just a complete, and I mean, it's wild to say because I mean, you've watched me grow on here, but I've done a complete 180 again. And, you know, I feel lighter. I feel more present. I feel, um, you know, I still like, there's still things that I'm doing that are like old versions of me, what I would do. Like, you know, I was putting off this video and I said, we can't do that anymore. We've got to do this. And right before, honestly, right before I came out here, I got completely drained. And I had to stop myself and ask why this is happening. Because my immediate thought was, maybe this isn't the right time to do it. And I was like, hold on. What if you're like sabotaging the message you want to put out because it's really important? And then I gave myself a minute, felt better, and came on here because, you know, it's scary to step into new things. And I've done a lot of that over the last few months, a lot of new energy, a lot of new habits, good habits, still working on some of the bad ones. You know, we're all work in progress, and you just got to take it one day at a time. And quite honestly, I keep saying that a lot. Obviously, I'm being honest. um, you know, I couldn't have gotten to where I'm at right now without the support of my boyfriend. He's been a big support, even with, man, I know it was hard for him when I was going through the mental things, the turmoil that I was in. And he's just stood right by my side. And that was part of, I think, what was triggering me a lot. Um, because no matter how scared I was and how much I wanted to run away from everything, including him, and I told him that, he just stood by my side and let me figure it out. Because when you find yourself in safe spaces and you get to the point where you're allowing yourself to be authentic and vulnerable and real, that's when it tends to get the most scary. And then your nervous system does what mine did, and then you have this spiral of things, right? So my boyfriend, huge, huge support. My mother, my friend Catherine, um, my friend Ash, definitely really helped me. My friend Carrie helped me too. I talked to her a little bit. And the doctors, it took me a long time, quite honestly. I've had a health issue for, actually, my boyfriend says probably since he met me, like we met. And it was like one of those things where, and I'm sure somebody can relate to this, where I was just like avoiding it. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, you just, again, put one foot in front of the other and you don't want to complain, but you end up complaining anyway. It's just, I'm fine, but I wasn't fine, and I wasn't finding the right people to help me. And now I've got the right people, and I'm gonna, have my health issue taken care of soon. And, I've got a doctor who, helped me get medication, for the time being. This is not permanent. I know I'm not going to do this permanently. And I've been seeing a chiropractor, and I highly recommend that because I have had a lot of pain in my body, and a lot of it was tied to that. So I had a lot going on, and one of the things that with the mental health issues I was having was kind of recognizing. My boyfriend said to me one day, "Are you happy?" And I mean, he meant it in general, but also in our relationship. And it had me take a pause and say, oh God, why is he saying that? I am happy. But it helped me realize that, my whole life, okay, I was conditioned in a negative kind of space. And a lot of us are anyway. But, I think it's part of my upbringing and my DNA, to be honest. So, that really had me looking inside and saying, do I want to keep living like this? Just focusing on everything that's going wrong. And I mean, there was a lot not going right for me, but it was like, what if I can step into feeling better physically, mentally, like, and noticing things that are good? I mean, because I express gratitude, but I kind of got out of the habit of that because I was too distracted by my phone, by distracting myself from the growth. Okay. Finding every reason not to step into this new energy. But oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so one of the things that, if you resonate with like the negativity piece, one of the things I started doing, my birds are like, yes, is I put a reminder on my phone every day. So the first one I put on my phone was get out of your head, because it was, I'm telling you, constant loop again and again. Doomsday up in here. It just was a mess. So get out of your head first thing in the morning. And then I had a positive affirmations notification that came up. And then around halfway through the day, I had a reminder not to give my energy away because I was doing that unknowingly and, not on purpose. And I stopped doing that. I'm better at that. And then at the end of the day, I have a notification, and I do this every day. I got to get back into it. I haven't been doing it recently. I've been a bit distracted with other things that I've been working on. But what happened good today? So at 6:00, I get a notification, what happened good today? And I talk about it out loud. Because you know what? It's easy for us to see what's going wrong. That's easy. You could easily sit in that every day of your life, but it doesn't feel good. So when I started doing all those things, I realized that I am happy. I just wasn't focusing on what was good, because I have a lot of good, a lot of good. And that's really been helpful. So if you like that idea. Totally recommend it. Also, I recently discovered, and this was definitely spirit, like led by spirit, the Honestly app. And it's an app you can use to journal throughout the day. You can voice memo or use text and just kind of, talk out loud wherever you need. Because a lot of what's helped me is inner dialogue instead of looking outside myself, because I was just trying to get someone to tell me it was going to be okay when I needed to just do that for myself. You know what I mean? It's okay to, need support and want support, but like you already have that within you. So you need to utilize that when it feels right. And you'll know when, like, okay, I'm having a hard time. I got to reach out to my friend or my partner or whatever, my mother, my father, whatever feels good to you at the time. But the Honestly app has been really helpful, because when I get the notification for, positive things and focusing on positive things and gratitude and affirmations, then I just do it on the app. And it feels good because I have it noted and I can look back at it like, yeah, this is everything good that I have going on. We love that, right? So a complete overhaul. I've been seeing U-Hauls everywhere. Complete overhaul of me, and it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy road, but here we are. And with that, I'm going to talk about the collective now. So I think I was saying, with my readings, my last few readings, whenever they were, especially on YouTube, I felt disconnected because I was giving advice while I was, connecting intuitively. And the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, I've had so many people reach out to me, and like my friends especially, and I've been listening. And I noticed the difference in myself because I've been actually actively listening to them and, chiming in when I feel like I need to, but just offering them space to talk. Um, and I do offer them advice, because that's why they're coming to me. So, before I kept thinking about, before this all happened, I kept thinking about life coach. And I was like, I'm not a life coach like that. No, that doesn't align with me at all. And it's funny because I posted a video, I don't even know when it was, about the gray area. I think I have a Libra moon, so I think I have trouble with like the balance piece where I go, it's either this or that. It can't be together, right? It's got to be here or there, right or wrong, black or white. Something just flew by my screen. That's so funny. So, I was looking at things like black and white when it came to my business, especially. And I was like, I don't know. I know I'm supposed to be doing something different. This doesn't feel good, aligned with me anymore. So, what are we going to do? So, when I've had these people reaching out to me, I kind of thought about that gray area video. And I was like, okay, my logical self, instead of my creative self, is taking charge here. And I'm saying, well, I'm in the spiritual realm, the spiritual community. My business is spiritual, so that's what it's got to look like. Well, what if it's not that simple? And I had a shaman tell me a while ago, and it's always stuck with me. Like, why do you have to have a title? Why do you have to define it? And that's something I struggle with this whole time I've had this business. I think it's been like 3 years. I don't know. Started in January. That's terrible. I should know that. I think I'm like 3.5 years. But I struggle with that my whole business, like feeling like in the beginning of my business, I was looking to fit in with other readers, and that went really bad. And then I was like, I don't know where my place is. And then I met Catherine, she's amazing. I've met other people that are in this community that are really supportive, and sometimes we don't talk and you don't need to. And I think part of that looking for answers was I was looking to other people for that, but I needed to sit. This is my business. I needed to sit with it and go, where are you headed? Like the pieces are coming together. So, with the gray area, I was like, in looking at my readings I was doing and then looking at the people who've been reaching out to me, I was like, I feel kind of like a counselor when people are coming to me. That's why they're coming to me, because they know that I'm going to give them good advice. And part of it comes from experience, right? So, chills. This is so exciting. So, with that, Spirit wants me to kind of, right now, more move away from the tarot, because it's kind of like, it's hindering me in the sense that it's like a crutch. It's like an anchor. It's like a habit. It's like, and it's not bad. Okay. It's not bad, but it's just familiar. Right. And well, tarot and oracle. And, because of what I was already doing with like looking at online readings and stuff like that, it feels right now that I am needing to disconnect from it anyway, which was what I was already doing. So I was already on the right track. So, Spirit wants me to really listen to myself, because I have the gifts, and I've said, I can't even tell you how many countless times I've said it in a video, that I don't need the cards. I don't need that. Newsflash, Colette. So, I haven't done any kind of like, I'm going to rebrand my like my bio, like what I'm doing. I'm going to rebrand my services. Like it's going to be a whole U-Haul. Like it's going to be moving. It's going to be completely different, in a good way though, because what I'm meant to do is actually hold space for you when I'm doing a reading. And what I think it's going to look like is me listening to you. Channeling whatever I need to channel before the session. I already do that when I have one-on-ones. I channel a message. But I want to sit and listen to you and what's going on with you. And then I can intuitively get messages for you with your specific, I've got chills, your specific situation. And then I will offer you guidance based on my life experience, and all the healing I've done. Because the people that come and find me are people who have gone through similar experiences. And even if I haven't had, the exact experience you have had, or it's different from what I've done or what I've experienced, I can still help you. I just know it. I can help you. So it's like blending my gifts, my knowing, my intuition, my senses, all my senses, blending it in with guidance, like real time guidance for you based on my intuition and knowledge. So yeah, like I never thought it would look like this. And it's completely new to me, like it's new to you, and we're in this together and we're going to explore this together. And I'm really glad that if you're still watching this video, I'm really glad that you have stuck around, even though I've been missing a little bit. And I got to say that, I don't know how much I'm going to be doing videos right now, because I have to, there's a lot I have to focus on for myself, but I have to kind of figure out what the services are going to be for this and rebranding. I literally just got the idea yesterday. So it's fresh, it's new, and I'm bringing it to you now. Like you're hearing it first, really. What did I tell? Well, I told one of my cousins about it, like, because we were talking about something else, and I was just like, hey, this is, And she's actually not somebody I would normally share this information with. So you're hearing it second. But yeah, it's going to be really helpful for a lot of people. I already know it. And I, there was something that was holding me back from the next step. And part of it was me. And I needed to, move up the hill and get over those kind of internal things that I was going through. But also, I had to be ready for this space because it's very big. And that was scary. And I got chills. That was scary for me. And it still is. I got to be honest. Because, like, the energy I was in before, I wasn't afraid to be seen like I was before. Like, I had a lot of more courage and a lot more power in my truth and authenticity. But where I'm at now is completely different. And I'm not afraid to be seen. I'm not afraid of what anybody thinks. Like, literally, what I said in the beginning of the video is how I feel. If you don't like me, if you don't like my content, I don't care. Like, you don't belong here then. And you can say whatever you want, but it doesn't matter to me what you think. Okay. Um, so I had to be in that space in order to step into this new one. So I'm ready, and I hope you're ready. And thanks for being here.